This is a Vauxhall Vivaro short wheelbase van. I bought it in the springtime and it was in perfect condition, I got to say. Have a look at the cab. There's barely a mark on it. The van had done 103,000 miles when I bought it, and I think overall a very good purchase. Now we're going to get out of the wind and go inside and I'll show you around. Now unfortunately I didn't take any footage of the conversion itself. This being the first one that I've done, I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out, so I didn't take any video of that, but we can certainly have a look around now and I'll show you the sequence in which I did things. The first thing obviously was that the bulkhead came out, and then after that it was on to the electrics. Now so far as the electrics go, I have a 150 watt solar panel up on the roof, and I have the main electric compartment towards the front of the van in this cupboard. Now what we have in there is a 110 amp hour leisure battery. We've got the split controller, the charge controller from the solar panel, and we also have a split relay coming from the alternator, so that when the van's running that's charging up the battery as well. Close to the door we have the fuse box, which feeds all of the internal electrical components in the van. I didn't put an inverter in this. The reason for that is that the majority of stuff which I'm going to use actually works on 12 volts. So I didn't want to take it up to 240 volts and then knock it back down to power the laptop, etc. You can get a 12 volt charger for the laptop, and you can get 12 volt and USB chargers for camera batteries, most things these days. So I didn't see the point in putting an inverter in, so there's no inverter. So the loads of the electrical components, the things which are drawing from the battery, well, first of all I have some LED lights in the ceiling, and we have two of these socket outlets. Each one has a USB port and a 12 volt port also. We also have a fridge, a 12 volt fridge, which is powered from the leisure battery obviously. We have the water pump, and we have a separate reading light. And that's about it so far as the electrics go. So although this is the first time I've tried doing 12 volt electrics in a van, I've got to say this worked out okay. There's loads of great YouTube videos, tutorials of how to do that type of thing. If it's something you're looking at a little bit daunted by it, it can be daunting to begin with, but a few times through some good tutorials, get the hang of it. Now the next thing which happened in the van, the next part of the conversion, was the insulation. And what I chose to use was the shredded up bottles. These this shredded up bottle material. It's like rock wool, only it's made of plastic bottles. And I've put a good layer of that around all of the walls and the ceiling. Covered that with a vapour barrier, taped it up, and then put the cladding on. But the floor, I thought I'd use a closed cell foam, which is sticky backed. You just stick it down to the floor, and then obviously put the wood flooring on top of that. And that seems to work very well. I didn't want to lose the height. You know, if you put the battens down on the floor and put the Celotex in, or the Kingspan or whatever, you're going to lose a little bit of height. And in a van which is not massive to begin with, I didn't want to do that. So I used the closed cell foam, and that seems to work absolutely fantastically. Now the seating, I went for an L-shaped seat, which folds out into a bed. I'll show you how that works in a moment. You can probably sit 3 people in here quite comfortably. And a future project plan will probably be to put this double front seat on a swivel, and I think that'll open up the van, open up the space a lot in the van, and also you get another person on, and a couple of people in there. I used a high density foam for the seats themselves, and I actually made these covers. I was looking into how I would do this, and I was a bit confused about it. So I sort of bit the bullet and bought a second-hand sewing machine off Gumtree, and again watched numerous YouTube videos of how to make cushion covers. And this worked out okay. It really did work out okay, I gotta say. And there was enough of the material left to make a bulkhead curtain, which I'll show you in a moment also. Now the bench here, the width of the bench is about 60 centimeters. So it is possible you could just sleep on that if you wanted to, or the whole thing does fold out and makes a full-size double bed, which is I believe 195 centimeters in length and 120 centimetres across. And with this high density forms a very comfortable bed, I gotta say. To convert it to a bed, what we're going to do is get rid of some of the back cushions. I've got some legs which screw into this fold out section, and when that folds out, the cushions go back on. Very simple. And equally simple to dismantle and put back into the seating position. Now, another consideration with a van of this size is storage. I think we've done quite well here. We have this unit just behind the driver's seat, which obviously the bottom of that has the electrics in, but these other two cupboards here, plenty of room to put a duvet, pillows, sheets, this type of material. We also have storage under the benches, and in this first drawer here we have the fridge. This is a 12-volt fridge, not a cool box, it's an actual fridge, compressor fridge, and it works very well. I mean, this will go right down to, I don't know, -4, -5 degrees if you wish. I normally keep it around 2 degrees, about fridge temperature, and that seems to be absolutely okay. We have another big storage drawer on this side, and this clothes, jackets, this type of thing. On the kitchen side of the van, I went for a fairly deep aluminium sink and a switchable tap. This has got a wheel pump into the water system, and that's obviously wired into the electrics. We also have a touring gas hob, which is LPG, and that works fantastically. There is no diesel heater in here. I didn't put one of the Chinese diesel heaters in, but if it is a little cold, put the hob on for 5 minutes, really warms the place up. As I say, it's a very compact, small space, and it's extremely well insulated. Under the sink unit, behind these two doors here, we have a 10 litre freshwater, 10 litre wastewater, and we have the LPG. I also have a heat shield to just stand up behind the hob to stop that from scorching the birch ply cladding, and to stop any drafts or anything like that. It's just a little bit of extra thing for the back of that. And along from that, we have two drawers at the top which we keep cutlery, chopping board, this type of thing. We have a pan drawer underneath, and then underneath that again we have another storage unit, which again, boots, washing up liquid, toiletries, etc. All good for that. And there's also a top unit here, which is good for dried goods, food, rice, pasta, tea bags, coffee, and a nice bottle of whiskey in there. Now, for the actual finish of the van, starting with the ceiling, I went for the cladding, tongue and groove cladding, but I took the tongue off and I took the groove off, and then I whitewashed it, sanded it down and gave it a coat of lacquer. But before attaching it to the ceiling, I put a matte black painted piece of 3mm ply, and I've kept gaps between this, and I just think it gives a much nicer effect than the solid tongue and groove all the way around. Also, the walls themselves, after having put the vapor barrier on, what I've done here, this is 6mm birch ply, and this has been lacquered, sanded down, lacquered again, sanded down again, lacquered again, sanded down again. It's a very nice smooth finish, and it's a sort of honey colour. It's very nice actually. I preferred this to just cladding all the way down. That sometimes can have the feel of a sauna, and I just like this birch ply. I like the look of it, and I like the grain markings on it. And so that's what that is. That's 6mm birch ply. The finish on the flooring is a simple laminate flooring. As I say, underneath here we have the closed cell foam, the vapor barrier, then we have a 12mm birch ply, and on top of that we have the laminate flooring, which again is very easy to clean, pretty scratch resistant. And also, last but not least, we also have a small garage area around the back. This is underneath this, the back seat and part of the kitchen. And there's enough room in here really to store deck chairs. I have a toolkit in here, the awnings in there, my old boots, and anything else of that nature. There's plenty of room here underneath the seat to store all of that sort of material. Now, I've done the surface of this with a black rubber matting. One, it's non-slip, so things aren't moving around and jumping about in there, and secondly, it's very easy to clean should anything be spilled on it. So that's the van. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed making the van. It was a great project. In the future I may very well sell this van and buy another and do another conversion. If I do that, then I will video every single aspect of it and we'll make a complete list. Just on pricing, by the way, the conversion for this cost me under £3,000. I do have a complete breakdown somewhere. If anyone's interested, I'm sure I'd be able to go through that. But it was under £3,000 to convert it from just a normal panel van to this camper van. So if you've liked the video, do give it a thumbs up and do consider subscribing to the channel. It does help, and we'll have many more videos coming in the near future. Thank you very much.